Oh shit! Yeah, thank you. Let me get that off of there.
Golden child.
That's from last night, and take that off.
There you go.
Cool. Yeah, good. You caught that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I turned it on, but it's gonna take a little bit. Yeah, man. It's just like I remember back in November 2017, uh, doing shows with Amanda Lawrence and other people. She said it, but other people said it too, which was anytime from that point on when you have days that are with two and ones, combinations of twos and ones, like 10 10 2021. So it's 1 1 2 2 1, and then 10 11 10 12. We'll have what 10 20 10 21 10 22. Then you're going to have 11 1 11 2 11 10 11 11. And so as the year goes, like October, November, December, January, and February, it's just loaded with twos and ones. That those are the most powerful days, right? And then look at the year 2020, 2021, 2022. So if you look at some of the intel, because I'm more of a take it all in and translate it versus pulling down information like Morgan does or Franco does. But if you look at all the information, the what the synopsis is that 2022 will be like things like through the end of the year. This year you've got the energy of several billion walk-ins. I'm not caught up in the literal part. I'm just saying the energetic standpoint, which means like massive expansion, not just a little bit, but massive expansion. And then if you look at 25%, as some say, of the populace will physically transition. And then 2023 will be a year of like councils will be formed, which all sounds pretty hard to believe. But when you consider the consistent uh, expansion we've had since, let's just say, on or about 2012, there's never been any contraction. It's just been a constant expansion, and each expansion, as we all know, we always go, "Oh my God, this was the biggest week we ever had, or the biggest month we ever had." But now we just finished the 9 in September. 1 is the new beginning. We're moving into 11 and 12, and I can remember going back to 2017 because I wasn't clued into this stuff till 2017. Lionsgate was always huge. The 9-9, the 10-10, 11-11 always seems to me like it marks the year. Like that's when somebody shoots the starter pistol. And then you have then you have the power dates in December. Like December 1st, December 2nd, again the twos and the ones, and then you have the 10th, the 11th, the 12th. My birthday's the 9th. That's always huge. And then you have the winter solstice, and fucking 20, 21, 22. Then you got 1-1. Then you got the 11th, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th of January. So in the 11th of January always seems to be another starting pistol go off. So I just feel like looking at the last, what is it, 3 days, the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th, that in no uncertain terms, we have ended and we have begun. Like truly, like not no bullshit. And what does that mean? Well, I watched Patricia Cota Robles vlog number 240, which is her last one, and she speaks in the terms she speaks in. But I felt the energy of that, I look at Franco, I look at Jason Estes, I look at Sandra Walter, I look at Morgan's stuff. I look at what Morgan and I pulled in that she pulled in that session 2 nights ago about going to the Golden Gangster Party. I mean, she doesn't come up with those words. Those words came through the transmission, and that it was a huge celebration that the Trinity energy had been anchored first by couples, strictly because, in my opinion, because of the fact that there was two physical, and you know what I mean, two as one, and then singles and more couples come. It was just marking the beginning. That's all it was, and there was hundreds of thousands of people at that extravaganza, right? And I just everything to me points to we're in it. We're literally in it now. And the other thing I got was this was interesting. I put this together last night. Again, this isn't what I think of. It's just what I bring in and then I translate it. So that's this whole thing, right? So we have lived in an environment where whether we knew how things worked or not, we saw the macro, the collective, as creating our life. You know, they pass a mandate, they pass a law, they have a board, they have a passport, like whatever the stuff that comes down the pike, we accepted that as creation. So what we didn't understand, and we all know this isn't rocket science, we were unconscious creators. In other words, we had to agree to what was presented in order for it to be manifested. And people can say, oh, well, the Illuminati, they faked us out and all that, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that the macro can only present. It cannot create. It can only suggest and present. And you can call it the archons, or you can call it the matrix, or the 1%, or the Illuminati, whatever. It doesn't matter. It can only present and distort. And in that presentation, there's a distortion. You know, they take one thing and they make it sound like something else, propaganda, whatever you want to call it. But what I think has happened now is that we already knew that we create. Then we're learning to understand that we have to give our consent. Now we're being challenged to stand in our soul and not consent to this big bad wolf, right? And I think what the difference is, and this is just my opinion of it, and it happened in the last 3 days, is we now are getting into this mode, and I'm saying this to myself first and foremost, of tunnel vision. Like, now I understand that I don't even have to look at that stuff. I don't have to like try to neutralize COVID or neutralize injustice or neutralize human trafficking or child sex abuse. I don't have to try to neutralize that global thing, okay? Because that global thing is constructed by the bricks, and we're the bricks. And what are the bricks? The bricks are the human interaction in personal and interpersonal relations throughout our day, moment by moment. So in other words, I interact with you. If I say, oh, he's not awake, or if I say he's stupid, or if I say he's better than me, then I'm actually fueling and sustaining and expanding what's already there, because those things that are such as what I mentioned are constructed by that type of vibration. So what happens? Now I get put into a different frame of mind. I've got tunnel vision. I don't need to look at that stuff because it's like backwards. You knock down the biggest domino, everything goes. But it's like backwards. You knock the smallest brick down and the rest of it goes. So in my human interactions, my personal and interpersonal relations, when I look at you, no matter what, you tell me I'm an asshole, we get along great, in ambivalence, indifference, whatever it is. If I can look at you and and walk away with no charge in neutrality, saying that's a soul. And maybe what I have to do, to your point, this is why I guess this all happened, because I don't usually start a show like this, is what you said before, because it stuck with me. We're learning how to be human again, and we don't know what that is. Now, it's a lot easier for me to look at you and say, that's a human being. It's a lot easier for my makeup right now, my active consciousness, which is my ego and my mind and my head and my heart. And it's a lot easier for me to say, Taíno is a human being. I am a human being, no matter what, no matter what he looks like, no matter what he smells like, no matter what his customs are, and vice versa. But because for me, coming out of the paradigm that we were in, it's a less, not that I don't believe it, but it's less embodied for me to go, oh, that's a soul. And maybe what I'm saying is it's both. So what I got out of it was, and I'm going to do a post on it and do a video on it, is that this is what it's come down to. It's come down to more than the words, just being present and no cliches, just literally being responsible as a co-creator for the collective experience based on my one-to-one interactions, personal, interpersonal situations, whether it be us talking or you put up a post, I go, who does he think he is? Or this one, how about this one? Why don't we all post our truth and not even comment? No, I love yous, and no, you're wrong. Just let it stand alone. And if we get something out of it, and let's not call it a charge, let's call it an inspiration. You post something, it doesn't fit with me, it inspires me, I'll go make my own post rather than comment on yours. I just feel like that this is what, and the difference is that we can do it now. That's what I see as different. Like these last 3 days to me is we can do it now. We have anchored in the Trinity energy into the human body. And your words stuck with me, man. We're learning to be human, and we don't know what that is. But I think we're here now. So, yeah, that was like a 10-minute rant.
You said a lot. You said a lot, man. Yeah, I guess along those lines, following, your energy and what you're speaking about, two things that really stand out lately in Soul Speaks to me. One is to your point that since especially since your energetic experience with the imbalance in your body, I got like a med bed code out of it. But anyhow, that's kind of what came through for me. And in your first live, as soon as you started talking at Frank, I got Franco too. Like I didn't have to wait till the second one. I knew you were talking about Franco when you said the smile.
Yeah.
But ever since that, and maybe before, maybe ever since the hero's journey took more of a bigger role, what you're alluding to has been absent from the conversation. Like I haven't heard a lot of people come on and speak about the things that you're referencing, because indeed we've moved past that. And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but to me personally, it's like the whole thing, it's like not in my field, man. Like it's a done deal. Like this, whether you're going to take the vax or not, and this and that, it's like, it seems like it was 20 years. It just seems like it's not relevant anymore. Right. Like we've moved past that. And it kind of in conjunction with that, the emphasis, like, I guess what I'm getting is that we talk about ascension and evolving in consciousness. Like you said, it's like a return to the simple, a return to the embodiment, to learning to redefine what love is. And that, I guess this is by not news, but what is this? if we're going to use that label, what's ascending is the human body.
Yeah.
That's what's ascending. It's the body. It's not my mind. It's not
Yes.
my soul. It's not my consciousness. What that means, and we're learning what the multidimensionality of what the human body is. But that's what's ascending, and that is the messenger, and that is what I'm being told to look at. Because like the lady the other day, she had suppressed her memory of her trauma, and she said, well, my body started shaking. My body, it's like the body is the star of the universe right now. Everything
Mm,
is centered on and Soul Speaks came to me. Soul Speaks is about the body,
mm,
because I'm getting audio visual code, and it's and what I've noticed lately, while that other talk is absent, is the vibration and the frequency of the guest, and goes talking about the story and whatnot. I'm getting the same charge or more than what I use when I hear light language,
yeah.
because the like, and you alluded to that our experience is we're matching or going above the galactic frequency, but what I'm hearing now is going in my ear, and the audio visual is just lately up the roof,
Yeah.
and because it's centered in the body, and that's what's ascending.
Yeah. God, I share a lot, like 30, 50, 40, 50 posts a day in Soulogy. And I did one, I found one yesterday, and it was and I can't remember it. It was only like 8 words. And it was, I go to different sites. Like some of these sites are writers from antiquity and, philosophers from antiquity, old stuff, right? And it was one of those. And the dude says, there's more wisdom in your body than anywhere else. Like all the answers are there. Like it wasn't like a metaphysical thing either. It was like Socrates or Epictetus or someone like that. It was like, and I was like, whoa. But you're right. I got that. That was 2 weeks ago. This past Monday. So that would be right around the first, right? That would be like the last 3 days of September. Franco got it the same day. I found out a sister got it the same week. Last night I found, Hung got it that same week. Everything doesn't happen in perfect linear synchronicity, but the range is there, right? Like the range. And I knew, and I talked about it. I knew that like you said, it was an audio, video, visual situation. I was in my body, like with one of those scopes. I mean, I could see the intestines. I could see the little pockets. I could see all this stuff, and then into the atomic. And I was told, and if you watch it, I said I was flat out told. I understood, and it was not even being told voices. It's just the body unknowing, and that head part of me getting out of the way, and you know what I mean. It's just like it's another trinity: the heart, the mind, the body. It's or the soul, the heart. I don't know what the three are, but so last night, anyway. So I was told then this is a total restoration, reclamation, reformation. You know, uh, from the cellular, right? And last night I had an experience before I went to sleep, and it was the same thing. The information came out with the same thing. It was a team. I don't know what it is, an energy complex or something that seemed to be external. And it said to me, this is what happened to you. And this is what's happening to people. And specifically spoke to the physical transformation and physiological. And that there was 2 or 3 things that were given as, I guess, clues. which I'd been experiencing. I'm sure others, itching on the skin, tingling on the skin, like something's biting you. This is the cellular spitting out that which needs to be spit out. And then, of course, there's different degrees of that as well. If you look at Franco and Kimberly, you look at different people's situations. Some might be emotional, mental, but the physical, I don't think anyone gets away from that one.
And it's my experience has been that it's always a representation. Everything physical in the body is a representation of a thought or a trauma or something that's non-physical. You
Mm.
know, you mentioned the other day the synchronicities for me have been, just, it's just, in Soul Speaks Late, you said, you gave the example of somebody who maybe had undergone, uh, you know, child abuse as part of their experience, and the fear, like, the belt, but you weren't it, like you gave the example, if you weren't really
Oh,
hit, right, something to that effect,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And automatically, thinking of my childhood experience, and that's something that I experienced. And like one particular day, my dad goes up to the bus driver in the morning as I'm getting in the bus, and asks the bus driver, "So how's my son behaving?" In front of everybody. And
mm,
he's like, "Pretty bad, pretty bad." He's playing baseball cards, and he's playing, cars in the middle. Yeah, whatever. I was misbehaving in the bus. And then he said, "Well, he's gonna have to learn the hard way or the something." Everybody's like, "The hard way." And so he looked at me, said, "I'll deal with you when I get home." You know. So obviously, that whole day in school, that's I the releasing of the fear and the trauma. And for whatever reason, that day I got home, I put on two pairs of jeans, trying to get ready to because I most of the time I didn't know it was coming, or I kind of knew, but this time, well, I put on two pairs of jeans, trying to hide from my mom so she didn't. But for whatever reason, my dad had a bad day at the office, what have you. He didn't go through with it.
right,
But still,
yeah,
I, the fear
yeah,
and all the trauma was released literally into my body. That's been
yeah,
my experience. So that's been accumulating within time. And so that gets stuck to the body. Everybody has a different, manifestation of that. But if that unresolved trauma, obviously, and so I think a lot of the collective, and I've been dealing with that for about 2 or 3 years intensively, but it is releasing that trauma from the body, because the body is the messenger, like you said, and the body is what holds the light,
yeah,
and there's so many dimensions to the body. And that's what I feel a lot of the people, that I hear that coming on the show, like that late, that the body is telling me, is telling us, the communicate, like that every cell, you mentioned that every cell in my body is the entire universe.
yeah,
And so that's what's ascending, and I have to make space for the light to come in.
yeah,
And so it's like it's fascinating for me where the emotional work, or the work that we do, but it goes in and throughout. The ascension is in and throughout the body. And as we increase our vibration, or our light bodies get activated, that's why, you talk about the external. And I was, that's why I think the focus, you talk about GMOs and
mm,
all these frequencies and toxins, and everything is aimed at the body.
mm-hmm,
Everything is aimed at the
yeah,
body. Everything that supposedly they're trying to, it's, and like, why is that? Now I know, it's like,
yeah,
okay, because that's the power that they're trying to, so, or whatever, suppress, because we are so freaking powerful
yeah.
that when the body comes online, dude,
It's
we f the 5Gs, we can block that, we can do
that's
whatever
right.
we want.
That's
And
right.
that's why everything is aimed, you know, you talk about everything, the way everything's designed. You go to a job, you sit down in front of a computer, that you don't move, you eat this, you eat that,
Yeah.
and everything, the programming through the eyes, through the ears, and everything is aimed at the body, you know, because that is the number one enemy. You know, if they perceive us as an enemy, or it, or whatever, that energy is, you know, everything is, you know, chemicals and what we use and whatnot, man. So it's like, why the emphasis on the body, you know, why the emphasis on the body?
You're exactly right. And here's the thing. So and you know, we can say, and look, I'm juicing for 4 months, and I know at some level that my highest aspect got me to that point, or the human, or whatever you want to call it, the team got me to this point. Hey, because if I hadn't done this, and that's only for me, this would have been a rough time. Okay, so it was all imperfect, right? But we talk about what we eat, what we drink, what we smoke, what we do, whatever the case is. But it's actually the thought. We talk about manifestation, you know, power of what is it? The law of attraction. I'm going to think that shit into existence, that type of thing. But again, we're focused on the macro. We're focused on the external, right down to our partner, right? And the truth is, the biggest domino is the smallest domino from the human eyes. It's the thoughts I have. How could I go to McDonald's and for 2 years be homeless and go 5 days a week? We know what shit that is. I'm eating off the dollar menu, so it's only double cheeseburgers, French fries, and those parfaits, which God knows what's in those, because you know you know that was probably worse than the hamburger. So how could that happen? Because there was a conscious alchemization taking place as I was eating it, talking to the food. Okay, now, so my point is that it's the thought. It's the thought, to your point, that the thought is what generates the body. So if I'm thinking these chemtrails are going to damage me, they're going to damage me. I'm already in that fear mode of, you know, putting on 2 pairs of pants, waiting for my father to hit me, right? And that controls me because I don't receive the pain. If I receive the pain, then I learn and I expand. I had a lady that I've actually known. I've never exchanged anything with her. So, like 10 years. You know, when I first came on to Facebook, and she sent me a note and she says, I'm concerned about this jab. And she says, can you talk to me? And something told me, yeah, go ahead, go with it. So what's up? Okay. She says, you know, are they trying to, I forget what it was, do something through this, you know, whatever it was, whatever nefarious thing it was. And I just started chanting, you know how you just start writing and it just starts coming out. And I have it saved because I might make a post on the subject. And basically what I was channeling was, look, it's not about that. It's about this. It's all of these things, whether it be a jab, ill-intended or not, or it be chemtrails or GMOs or fluoride or whatever, 5G, whatever. It's not about that. It's about the power of suggestion. It's about the presentation of a threat. Okay. And that's it. That's where it stops. That's where it starts, right there. So if I walk outside into this world and I feel a threat, which is no different than you make a post and I don't agree with you, that's a threat. That's a threat to my belief system. Now, if I go make a comment, which is why I stopped making comments a long time ago, because I realized that, you know, people will make comments if you post a lot like I do, and I'll go, no, hey, who the F are you? You know, so I'm in the game now. So it stops or starts with me. And what I'm finding so fascinating now is that I can actually dictate the positive continuous wave of good fortune in my personal life. And when I do that, I make the highest contribution to the collective because I stop it. I stop it right there. Now, last thing, I had to send out 200 plus messages to people trying to catch up on all the people that want to come on the show. And I've talked about this, and I put up and I sent a form message, and I said, look, we're focusing on, at a very personal level, on the hero's journey. This is not a marketing platform, no disrespect. If in some organic fashion, your skills and abilities come up in the subject matter, your website, whatever, then that's great. But and if it resonates with you, here's some dates. I had a good friend of mine send me a request. I sent the same message to them. They got very defensive and very offended. And I wrote back and I said, and I had a charge, and I said, hey, I sent this to 200 plus people. Nobody else responded that way. So chill the fuck out. That's what I said to him. And I would only say that to a friend, even though I shouldn't have. So then they wrote back a big long thing. And so it was a big long, we all have gotten them before. It's a big long book. I read the first paragraph, I read the last paragraph, and I didn't have to read the middle of it. And at that point, which is another fascinating thing, even though I jumped into the fray, I now had another choice point. And I went, wait a minute, that's that stuff, right? And I just said, I'm sorry that you feel that way. In other words, it wasn't my intention. Forgive me. I love you. I'm sorry. Thank you. They wrote back, thank you. And that was the end of it. And it's gone. So that's fascinating to me, because that exchange, which can happen, think about the billions of times that can happen. Think about the number of times that happens for one person in a day. Now think about 7.8 billion people. All right, fuck that. Think about 780,000 people. Think about the impact they would have is all day long, moment by moment, they stopped it instead of starting it. They just went, no. Okay. I mean, to think that's the key to the highway. Holy crap.
And that starts in the body, because if we're aligned in the body and you're centered in the body, your thoughts, you're going to get that pause. If my body's agitated, if my body is not in tune with, if my emotions and my body are not aligned, because I don't know about you, but when I'm about to respond to something like that, and not, I'm going to engage somebody in that type, I get a charge. Like, my body lets me know, man.
Yes.
You get that little nervousness, whatever. The hands start to sweat a little bit. I know, man. I mean, I could, so many times I ignored that and said, F that, but if I'm being truthful, man, the body will let me know right away, man.
You don't even have to do anything. That's the one part I left out, because on a personal level, I noticed what you're saying in a bigger way in the last 2 weeks, especially the last week. I noticed when I was reading whatever it was, receiving the energy from an external mirror of me, I noticed my body. My body was like the first thing I heard. It was like, hey, do you feel that? Do you feel your breathing getting like,
yeah.
And here's another thing I learned in retrospect, and then continue, please. I learned this when, other than this situation right here, okay, when I said stop, in what I told someone, for instance, in the second example, I said, look, I'm going to step away for the health of this relationship. And that can be this health of this connection in this moment, because this is just not the time. I can't, I'm not going to, there was no judgment. It was just, I'm stepping away. Because, and what I noticed was when you say stop, you don't have to tell anybody. But when you respond, as you were just about to get into, you got to go tell somebody. Oh, I showed them. Oh, yeah. You know, go ahead.
No, no, I'm with you, man. And you know what? It all, to me, I realized that, as part of my journey, like I said, looking back at childhood, and now, and from that early stages in my life, man, I realized that I had been just recycling that energy and that fear, and that just recycling it in my body. And so that creates more and more difficult personal relationships. It dictated my whole life because I never got rid of that energy. So I'm just recycling and creating, breed like the gremlins, breeding and finding ways to produce shame, to produce guilt. You take about the symbolic of them. I masked myself when I was 5 years old. I never, suppression, feelings, all these things. And like you say, I think finally or at least I personally, I stopped recycling that, man.
Yeah.
And recently the universe has let me know, man, you're done with that. Now
Yeah.
we're into creation mode. Now we're working with new energies. And I don't have to, because when I was in recycling mode, definitely you run into personal situations like that. All I do is bring up old stuff,
Right.
just, I have so much of it. I got plenty of it. It's coming out of my ears, coming out of my pores, man. I'm ready, and I'm looking for ways to feel guilt, to feel shame, to punish the body, but
It's the uncomfortable comfortable, the uncomfortable comfort zone. It's what,
yeah.
that's a great point too, because we do this because that's what we know. Look, somebody just put up a great comment and they said, well, then what about the adage? Oh, here it is. Here, let's see. Let's give them their due. Laurel. She says, what influence then does the no pain, no gain mantra and the pride in it have on the physical? Well, this is my take on this. It's the thing that you were talking about earlier. The dad's going to come in and he's going to whip you. And you do what Taíno did. You go into fear. We've all been there. This is a metaphor. We've all been there. And now you're in fear, right? You're in fear of what's coming. Now that's where the trauma gets anchored into the body, stored into the body. This is the template that creates the pattern, and the trauma builds on the trauma, builds on the trauma, and then you have all the physical elements. My point to what she's saying is the pain is my friend. Okay? Pain is dark love. Pain is not fear. Pain is not grief, and pain is not prolonged sadness and envy and jealousy and anger. That's not pain. Pain is love. Pain is love, not in the human sense but I'm talking about universal love. I'm talking about the flip side of what we call love. Pain is my teacher. This I learned on the street, right? Pain is my teacher. It's my friend. As long as I embrace it as the love it is. Because guess what? It goes like that. So what happens in your story? Your dad goes to the bus, and the bus driver says, your kid's an asshole. Oh, I'll take care of you when I get home. Now, what would have happened if he would have grabbed you by the shirt, took you around the side of the building, pulled his belt off, and whipped your ass like lightning? you'd be healthy and whole. You'd have come back with tears, your ass would have been red, but you would have been like, a part of you would have been like, okay, been there, done that. Now, you might have had some fear embedded because that's what a father figure, you know what I mean? And here we go. There's the presentation. And when I told that story, whenever you saw it, I don't remember when I was talking about it. I have 6 kids, and I had 2 kids. The second to the last one in particular, a girl, okay, an old grandma soul. And she was a fit. She was an absolute fit. She brought in shitloads of ancestral trauma to clear. I didn't know about all that stuff then. She's 4 years old. I go and I can't. There's nothing else I can do. So I go in to whip her butt. And she just looked at me like, is that all you got, pal? And I'm just like freaked out. I'm like, oh my God. Like I have no power here. But that was a code for my soul. That was a mirror showing me what fearless a soul can be, right? I mean, so yeah, that's the way I see, my reflection on that comment, that pain is not our enemy. I hate to use that term. Pain is not the problem. The problem, we don't have to go through pain. That's part of because pain is love. It's a perspective thing, but it's the charismatic children of fear.
Oh, well, if looking at it like that, what comes to mind is in the more bigger picture. Where is pain in retrospect to our human experience, and as compared to a frequency of love, frequency of pain, frequency of fear. And if I look at my example, pain is needed, and I can see what you're saying. Pain is love, because why did my dad resort to physical punishment?
Mm-hmm.
Because he was in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was in pain because he was, my grandfather, who I never met, was a very violent man. And to the point where he would beat not only my dad, his brothers and sisters, my grandmother. My dad had to threaten his own dad with a baseball bat to stop hitting his mom, my grandma. So that pain, the universe is perfect, turns that pain into an experience that my soul wanted to have. And that's why I came here, to experience things like that, so I can be here now talking to you, man. And everything that I went through in this moment right now is perfect. And so that pain that motivated him to I have to thank him for being the brave soul to play in that part. And now I can transmute that pain. And it took pain. I've been through pain to transform that trauma into love.
Yeah.
So pain is part of the frequency that it's embedded in all of this. So I definitely feel what, I understand that. And pain is a friend, like you said. Pain and love, there's like, they go hand in hand.
Why do we pursue love? I mean, that's a big question, but to put it in these terms, to feel something. Okay. So from a soul level, looking down, not indoctrinated into the experience with amnesia, what is pain? Pain is feeling. It's feeling. I remember telling Morgan about my worst period, strung out on drugs and just doing crazy, wild, insane, reckless, with my life and stuff. And she said, why did you do that? And I said, to feel something. And you can go into the pits of hell with the devil swinging 12 and 4. and be in a place where you will do whatever to feel something. That's 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 a pretty bad place to be. But when you get past the guilt, the shame, the blame, the pity, and you look at it for what it is, I spent 2 bouts of 1,000 nights each in hell. I did. And it was a gift because I took the pain until I realized I can either be 100 degrees below the bar or I can go 100 degrees above the bar. I can feel to this level, this degree, but it can be over there instead of over here. It's a choice, right? I mean, so I don't know, but
and you know, I'm sorry to interrupt you, man. Go ahead.
no, you're good. No, I don't even know that whole thing started, but it's being discussed because the of the level of awareness the body's having now. That's the whole point. And this is what we should get back to. I mean, you brought this up 4 weeks ago. You said we're learning to be human, and we don't know what that is. Well, I think this is round 2, and and that is the body. I don't know. Is it surrenderance to the body? The body is me. I mean, it's a complicated, multifaceted, multidimensional kind of question, even though we're talking about the human aspect.
Yeah, we learning. I'm learning to how to relate to our body, how to learn coming into what the body is capable of, and the information that the body has for me. Because I think that, and this is one of the things that you alluded to this earlier when we started the show, man. I love talking to you, man, because I like playing because I'm the same, I identify, with what motivates me, man. And I have passion for this type of conversation, man. I'm grateful to be here, man. And one of the things that, Franco talks about, the inverted 3D that we're talking about, how, or at least how my story, my beginnings in my human experience, and how, I embraced, the inverted 3D, and how all this trauma played into me, playing in that. But, as we evolve as we're evolving in consciousness, to your point, learning to be, I think that all I knew was programming, that for many years. I mean, that's and if we're talking about, and you brought about with Morgan, the new, we're talking about a new 5D frequency, whatever that means. I'm noticing that I personally had to have a substitute program built on truth and love, a different. I can't go from there, because I'm already conditioned to work with a program, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and that's where all these modalities and things, and the things that we adopted as spirituality, so to speak, but come to find out, what we label as spiritual and put it in a box is really our natural human form. It's not, it's like eventually that label will drop, because it's not even, spirituality is not even a thing, bro. It is what we are.
Yeah.
But I couldn't go from where I was to where my soul wants to go, with something in between to hold on to, that's sort of similar, but based on truth and a higher frequency. And so I see that happening too in the collective, where the body is pushing me back inside and saying, okay, you had the channel, you did all these things, but guess what you're trying to pull from up there is here.
That's right.
It's not out there, it's here. And it's even a higher frequency in here. But because it's scary to think with oneness and be, be in the simplicity of the moment. What am I going to do with that? My mind can't my soul, because I'm used to running off a program. And I think now the initial shedding of the inverted 3D is preparing us to really look at ourselves and say, okay, now you've had practice. Now we've got to shed all these things that I've been holding on to, quote unquote, spirituality, but no fault of mine. It's just because I'm programmed that way, because I need a program. So now I have a good, quote unquote, but it doesn't mean it's not a program. As we move into the oneness and the unconditional love that we're talking about. And that's why I get a sense where people talk about the bridge and like the bridge, because it's just too shocking to me. But it's been very accelerated for me, since 2020.
Yeah.
Grab and now let go of things to really see the frequency that you and Morgan talked about in your session, with the egg
Yeah.
and that is something that's more in the moment, because I think what I'm getting is that that's where we're going to go into full creation.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to this, and I see the disintegrate, the thing you were talking in the beginning, which I see the results, because it's not in our field. We're not talking,
No.
I
No.
don't, we're like, wait a minute, how did that happen? Shit, we just disintegrated, a whole, it's like, whoa, we could really
It's
do
like
this.
it's like a memory, but it's not a point of context. Like do you remember March of 2020 COVID came out? Yeah, I remember that. I was down in Florida. But it's not a point of context. There's no charge. It's like a reading a book from antiquity or something. Like reading about, something, like a Aesop fable or something. There's no, you know what I mean? And Franco has talked about this on this show for 2 years, that that would happen. It's here now. And here's the thing, that the only thing that has ever created anything has been us. And to get to this fantastical point now and understand that, wait a minute, it's not that hard. We don't need to preach anymore. We don't need to instruct anymore. We really don't. We really don't. Because the body's online. And this is the contagion, right? This is the virus. Because, and again, back to that other example, when you got to go tell everybody what you did, then you know what you're dealing with. You're not dealing with the body. When you're dealing with the body, you ain't got to say nothing, because you're like a fucking billboard. You're lighting up the whole world, And it's crazy because now the only thing that can create is conscious and responsible. And the wildest thing to me is, like in that session we did, the one that I released last night, I asked the question at the end. I said, I asked the question, so it sounds like this is going to move very quickly. And we'd already picked up on that in a couple of previous sessions. And it was like, yes, like very, very quickly. And I walk away going, okay, so how does this work? How can I fulfill my role? Like, and again, not attached to my role, just how can I maximize? This is what I do. I take an information, I spit it out. That's my soul. And we're trying to hold on. And everything we're trying to hold on to, we're going to have. You're not giving anything up. It's how we have it, right? It's how we have it. Look, somebody said to me in the last couple of days, and I've been interacting more with people, and I don't know what's going on with that. I think it's part of that coming out that you talked about last time, right? Like the empaths went out and they were like, oh my God, I'm feeling everybody's energy. I got to go back in the cave. Now we do all this work. And then you come on a month ago saying, hey, we got to figure out how to be human. And we don't even know what that is. But part of what we have to do is we got to go out and interact with each other. So what does that mean? I'm still the empath. In fact, I'm more of a super empath now. So that must, it's something, what's going to happen? Well, we learned what's ours and what's not. We learn what we can stop and carry forward. So there's a big truth to that. And I said to this person in this conversation, I can't remember the exact context of it. I said, I am not. Oh, I know what it was. It was one of the previous sessions, and somebody on YouTube made the comment, what is Todd doing? He's not channeling, and he's not in a meditative state. So what is he doing? And I never comment, but I thought, wow, that's a good question. And I wrote, I'm just like everybody else. I can channel anything I want. If I really want to, any of us can. If I want to talk to George Washington, we all have our own methods. We can talk to George Washington, or I can channel whatever I want to, whatever I can think of, because it's real, right? But I said, I am not special, but I am special, as we all are special, right? That's that whole nothing everything thing, right? Like it's weird. It's not a human thing. It's not a human concept. It just is. Like the body just is. And I think that's the biggest thing that's happening now, regardless of how much we talk about it, regardless of how much instruction or how much knowledge somebody can drop on somebody else about how to, it has to be experienced. That's the only teacher. Why? Because the body feels the pain. The body feels the experience. Pain is not the right word. Pain is the soul said, I want to go feel, right? Anger, all that stuff, these are byproducts. These are products of that inverted. The pain is the love. The love is the pain. It's that universal love, though. It's not the human concept. Body is wisdom. That's what Gina said.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible what the body, like I said, we're learning. Oh, I'm learning all this, but one thing that I can tell you is, not obviously we have moments where we're whatever triggered, whatever that means, but I know that my body, I know the difference, like you said, with the energy, the Trinity, that I said, what is Todd doing? Well, we're online now 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm conscious of what, of my thoughts, of there's no I'm conscious. I know now, I'm aware. And I think being aware is something that is so expandable, but I think that is so key. There's a difference between being, like, enlightened and being knowledgeable and being awake and being aware, man. I'm aware, man, of my thoughts. I'm aware of everything. I'm aware of what's surrounding me. I'm aware when I go, that's a whole different ball game.
It is. It's the body. Awareness doesn't have to say, again, the awareness doesn't have to go tell people I'm aware. Awareness is a state. Enlightenment has to go tell people I'm enlightened, one way or another, right? Awake, you have to go tell people you're awake. I'm awake. I know that there's an Illuminati. That's done. Stick a fork in its ass, because you're already guilty. Awareness is awareness. That's it.
You can't explain it. You have to embody it or experience it, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But it's a game changer.
Yeah. It reminds me of like, I don't know what I'm thinking of here. I don't know if it's a bird or like I'm picturing like a submarine has like this turret that comes out at the top with an eye, and you can see 360 degrees at all times. That's awareness. from a metaphorical sense. That's awareness. You just know everything. And we've all had flashes of it. But now it's different because, and here we go back to let me ask you about this. We always talk about thoughts. Are those my thoughts? Or these my, But there is a thought. There is a stream of thought that comes from the body. That's the awareness. Now that we're talking about what do you think? I know that's
Oh, definitely. And that's the light in the body, because when I have past trauma in the body, and it's a physical manifestation of parasite, candida, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, whatever, pain in the back, all these things that have been sold to us as, chronic. It's just an energetic imbalance. And that is going to affect my thought process. I'm not in the moment. I'm not aware. I can't be fixated on my trauma and being aware of what the universe is telling me at the same time. It's because I've been there for many, many years, stuck in that recycled energy. You can't do it at the same time, man. And that's why we've been through all this. And that's the beauty, man.
That's gold, man. That's gold. Like, I'm just thinking, like, okay, there's a salient point. I cannot hear my body if I'm focused on the trauma. So I'm thinking, okay, there's an instruction. I'm going to ask Taíno or whoever has it. How do you do that? Okay, and it's real simple. The body, it all starts with the body. So focus on your breathing. Put your hand on your heart. Yeah. Go quiet. Like, here's another thing is now we see the tree as opposed to only seeing the forest. I didn't say trees. I said tree. It's like there's only one fucking tree in the forest, yet we were looking at the forest. And so, right? I mean, it's that simple that the whole, I saw some incredible, I put some up in the Soulogy group this morning. I saw a lady, and I can't remember her name. I think it's Laurel, but she's in, I think, Italy. She put up portraits of like 48 ET star families, like individual portraits. Like, you'd go get a portrait done in a studio. Her artistry is off the hook. She also put up some, what I would call like glyphs or light language glyph or something. I don't know what it was. And she put at the top, take what resonates, no words needed. And I'm like, boom, there it is. What does it mean? I don't know, but my body's going, wah, just going, it's going, there it is. So think about it. Like it's the silence. It's the wordless. It's crazy, but like the body doesn't have to speak by the terms that we think speech is. It's that awareness you're talking about. And the other thing I love about the here and now is it doesn't nothing matters but right now. Like, I don't give a shit if you went to school for 12 years and you got a Nobel Peace Prize, whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I was in prison yesterday. Doesn't matter, because the information is there. It's real. It's stored right here. And it's online for every single person. Because the minute I say, not everybody's, there, I'm feeding the monster. And oh yeah, but it's true. Well, fucking A, it's true, because you won't shut your fucking mouth, or I won't shut mine. What's the difference between me saying that somebody is a homeless bum that needs to get a job, as someone that's not awake, or someone that's a snotty, sanctimonious son of a bitch that lives in a mansion and enslaves people? What's the difference? I'm perpetuating that false reality. This responsibility thing, it's not a big deal. it's just such a shift in what we thought our lifestyle was. And here we are trying to fix things within an unfixable system when the whole thing's created right here. And it sounds stupid, it sounds colossal, but it's all my deal, it's all my gig. And if the minute I try to understand it at a human level, I'm screwed. It's that body, it's that awareness thing. It's just like, you know, it's just shut up and do it, because the minute we open our mouths, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing of beauty, man. I was so blessed. It's like, I I don't think of myself as a miracle, but this whole thing is a miracle. You know that we're aware, we're cognizant of these things, and that we can it's to me, it's just a blessing, man, to have experienced, what we're going through what now. And I've never had it. I've never had it so good, man, in that sense of simpleness, and having these type of conversations.
Yeah.
And I don't run for, like you said, we don't run from the pain. If it comes up, it comes up. Dream state, I get a lot of stuff between them when I'm about to wake up, and
Yeah.
they're the synchronicities, and it's no coincidence. I wanted to, like, many moons ago, I spent 3 years in South Texas, man. There you
You
old.
did?
Yeah, man.
Where?
And in Laredo, Texas,
Oh, that's
man.
right. Yeah, yeah.
I didn't mention it last time.
You didn't
Uh,
mention it. You
no,
know what I saw? You know what I saw last night? I was flipping through Netflix. There is a baseball team in Laredo, Texas,
Tecolotes.
Nuevo Laredo, that it's the only, I don't know what term they use, but the only baseball team in the world that's made up of two different countries.
Los
Oh,
Tecolotes, they're called. Los
oh, you know
Tecolotes.
about them? Okay.
I used to go watch him play.
Oh, very cool.
So, like, that was 3 years of my life, total trauma, recycling, whatnot. But I kind of underestimated the significance of it. But it's no coincidence that last night, in between my dream state and awake state, you know, the radio came up, and things that shame, and it's like, okay, and I saw it, man. And it happened the other day too. It was like a Brady box, like the Brady bunch, like a box of
Wow.
shameful events. And obviously, my first reaction was to go, oh, I got a price. And then I got from the universe, like, no, listen, I'm showing you this not as a trophy, but you've done this is, look at it, doesn't charge you anymore,
Right,
man.
right.
Now you're ready to tell, to keep telling your story, to share, to
Yeah.
help, to inspire others. Like you said, it's a game. We've moved past certain things. We don't reach a plateau. We're always evolving, but it's like, don't get stuck on the old patterns,
Yeah.
man. Go forward, stay in the moment, and I thought of you because it was like, it was just, maybe I had, you on your mind, and it was like, it was many years ago, but it's like 3 years I spent down there.
No, I know, dude. I send plenty down there.
And I
And I
went
had
to
to,
I went to your hometown once
you
too.
did. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
Corpus Christi. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's time, man. And and I'm feeling it too, man. I'm feeling the passion, and
Yeah.
we have those moments, I'm sure you do, where I don't know why I'm crying.
Yeah.
It's like tears of joy, with releasing, with I don't even know how to describe it, but gratefulness. And it's like, I can tap into the energy of the collective and feel the love and feel the honor, what it is to share in this group with these souls that feel like a fellowship. I truly
Yeah.
do, and come in contact with people. My friend, that Antoinette, I think that she came on the show, that I met her. I told you when I met her, just, through the internet. And it's just, to me, these moments are more and more just to be in the moment, and just to feel, like you said, to feel, man, like
Yeah.
I finally get to feel.
Yeah.
And it's not fake, It's not something induced, chemically induced. It's not on money. It's not on possessions. It's not on anything. It's just on being human, bro. Just
I
that
know.
moment of just feeling everything, dude. I'm excited, man, of what, not futurize it, but it feels good, man. It feels good to
Dude,
be a part of this.
it's like, yeah. I mean, it's that awareness thing. Like you can feel the difference. It's that aware. It's there's no words for it. And that Antoinette, man, she that that was like massive, massive download. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, that
that's
was
where the
like,
code is at, man.
I
When
know
when,
it
when
was.
we when we share, and
It's the real deal.
that's the real deal right there, man.
Yeah, I get, you know, and I realize that I'm to be a chameleon. You know, I realize that that's my soul makeup. This isn't Todd. This is the soul. You know, everyone has their own soul signature, and but I get, you know, I had one the other day, and I remember telling Morgan, because I was talking to Morgan in between shows. We hadn't talked yet. And I said, well, I got 10, 12 minutes. And we're talking right at the last second. I said, I got to go because I know what's coming. Like I knew this guest coming in wasn't like 99.9% that had been on this show before. And it was an incredible experience, but it was a new experience. And I had to get into that space fast. No judgment, openness, awareness, because with awareness too comes that telepathy. This person was finishing my sentences and I was finishing theirs, but look at us over here and it's like oil and water, right? Like looking from the human eyes, it might look like oil and water, but so that's another thing about but the reason I bring it up is because this is what Taíno, my brother, said. I got to go out like everybody else and meet the world. No exceptions at all. So when I see somebody coming, and I'm talking about on the show as a metaphor, hey, let me show you what I can do. Let me do this. Let me do that. Right? I cannot go into judgment. I have to go into that awareness. It's not even like a strategy. It's not even like, okay, I'm going to do A, B, C, and D. It's not like that. It's just awareness. It's just be yourself and be aware. That's it. And I can't explain it. It's beyond spontaneity. It's beyond intuition. It's what you've come closest, in my opinion, so far. It's this awareness that is the body, that is the God. It's God. That's what it is. It's God. We just happen to be in a body. And this is freaky, but this is why we came down here, to get jiggy with it, you know?
And with the universe aligns, because you're the person for the job, because I can tap into that energy right away. And I'm like, man, how does he do it? Because I know exactly the moments you're talking about, man. Because
I
when
know
I
you.
watch the show, I tap in, man. I'm
Yeah.
connected. I feel it, dude. And I'm like, yo, how does he do that, man? And I can just feel it when that happens, and how you go in the body, how you remain calm, and how no judgment in the show, and how you're able to alchemize the energy, and it doesn't affect the flow. And it just it's amazing, man. And so the universe puts us in the places where we are to be of service.
That's right.
And I feel that, to me, in a simple way, in the building where I live, my neighbors,
That's
the
right.
people, the restaurant I go to, it's like, that's like the world is an energy practitioner, like you're energy practitioner, but with not formally, just living and interacting
That's
with
God,
humans, bro,
you're
with no
you're
website, no Patreon,
dude, you're
man.
like a fucking genius, man. Like
I
I
just
used to
do it,
say that the universe is my twin flame, which I'm still hanging on to that one, but I like yours better because it's like what you just described is like it is Soul Speaks 5D. You go to the restaurant, you sit down, you see who sits down with you. You just go. It's, you know what I mean? You know, it could be somebody walking down the street, you know, it's just like, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to, and this is the gift of, you know, I can only speak for myself, but to me, this is the gift of being in a relationship with Morgan, is the challenges, the pain, not the pain is, like I said, the human connotation, but the pain from the soul perspective, the love / pain, the uncomfortable that continues, because the love will always win. Fear is in a futile battle with love. So it's that higher and higher levels of unconditional love, non-judgment. That's just an awareness. It's not like, okay, I'm looking in a mirror of myself and I love you equally. It might have taken mantras and affirmations like to get to that point in our lives about many things, but it's just a level of awareness. And it can only be done through the boots on the ground, man.
That's it.
There's no other way to do it.
That's it, man.
Dude. Yeah. So hang out a
Yeah,
second.
you got another show, right?
Yeah, but hang out a second, and I want to talk to you real quick.
Okay.
So I'm really happy that we did this again, and let's do it again, because you know we just need to do it, because you know there's a lot of obviously a lot of feminine energy stepping up, but there's also some powerful, balanced, centered, real masculine energy like you and the guy coming on next, Ty Hudnall. So yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back in 12 minutes with Ty Hudnall.
Cool.
Right on. Taíno.
Sure thing, bro.
Let me just clear this off of the, what the hell is that? Okay.